get into it, shall we? What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and we are back to talk about some things. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I thought I had a typo in my title. Guess I didn't. I don't know why it has it looking like that on here. Okay, but y'all, for my divorced sisters recap, I got some very, good commentary where, so a lot of y'all had some different opinions or whatever about Jefferson, especially Rasheda and Jefferson, how you felt like I had strong opinions about Rasheda. Some even felt like, and we talked through it through the live though, but I just wanted to bring it up. Some people even felt like I didn't like Rasheda, or I was just kind of taking Jefferson's side or whatever. But I kind of want to talk through it through, a married person's perspective or whatever. And not to say that I'm like the guru of marriage or whatever. I can just speak through my own personal experiences and what I see in that dynamic. So before we get into that, I want to share with you all some things that are going to be changing on YouTube that you'll probably notice with a lot of other content creators as well. So YouTube has recently changed its guidelines, and I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Thank everybody for coming through. Let me make sure this screen comes up for you. All right. So starting today, content is going to be a little bit different. All right. So we're going to see if this video actually gets monetized, because from the verbiage, things like this is what will not get monetized anymore, or, i.e. receive copyright strikes. So it says starting July 15th today, YouTube will only pay creators who use their real voice and produce original content. Following will not be eligible for monetization. Reused or repurposed videos, copied content, low effort uploads, and fully AI generated videos. Okay. So just wanted to share that with you all, so that as you see your favorite content creators maybe change up how they do their content, this may be why. So, I'm not sure what prompted this, y'all. I just think, here's the thing. I think that some people may, be excited about it because they are tired of people doing reviews of the review, right? Or like, people just constantly reusing other people's content. But I feel like it's a way to express different opinions about certain pieces of content, right? But it just all depends on how you actually look at it. But just wanted to make you all aware of that. And shout out to the content creators that sent this information to me to make me aware of it. So yes, the YouTube partner program is changing, you all. So just be on the lookout for some of your favorite content creators for their content to be different, okay, because of these guidelines. So Black Millionaire says Google is rolling out a big shift to how creators can make money on YouTube, and this could affect thousands of channels. According to an official update, YouTube plans to tighten its rules around what counts as original and authentic content starting July 15th, 2025. The new guidelines will give YouTube more power to spot and penalize videos that are mass-produced, repetitive, or inauthentic, which the platform says doesn't align with its standards for the YouTube partner program. Okay. As a result, channels that churn out lots of AI made videos, recycled clips, or certain reaction videos might lose their ability to earn revenue. What are your thoughts? Okay. So yes, it's just it's interesting. Oh, okay. Oh, Caramel's in the chat. Laquanda Govan, good morning, Shay in chat. What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for joining. Charnel Monet is here. She says, good morning, Shay Renee Online. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Caramel Real, my friend, is in the building. She says, hey, friend. What's up, sis? How you be? Thank you for joining. She popping in and popping out, y'all, because I know she probably going over there to do some stuff on her channel. Shout out to Caramel Real and her channel. Caramel Real says, it's Caramel just stopping by to support. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate you. But yeah, y'all, this the content is going to change. So that so people, this may affect some individuals that may not necessarily use their face on their videos. This may also affect some individuals that do a lot of those AI generated videos or things that just have sound, like those sound videos. I know sometimes I used to use them when my son was young to have him go to sleep. We had the little sound box, but YouTube just had more sounds to use. There's actually a creator out here that he repurposes videos, like he resells viral videos, like he's all over Instagram selling that service. This won't be something that he can do anymore. So yeah, this is what's happening. Laprice Menze says, hey, Shay Renee in chat, it's been a long time. Hey, thank you so much for joining. Y'all are coming in this morning, okay? But y'all, just wanted to share that information with you really quickly. So let's get on with the show, okay? Oh, Caramel says, you can use a clip, but you just do an extensive amount of commentary on it. Don't use clips, videos. You should be good. Shout your source. Okay, well, perfect. All right, perfect. That makes sense because, yeah, child, listen, friend, I was up here freaking out. Like, how are we going to do the hot topics? People need to know, you know? We got to do things about the hot topics and things. Use posts or pics. Okay, perfect. Okay, gotcha. So no like videos with like voices and stuff, things like that, because it's like you're replaying the video. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. All right, well, we might be good to go, y'all, because today I only have pictures. Okay, so we can talk about the topic that we have on the docket for today. And shout out to sis for coming through and bringing some clarity to the situation. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's get into divorce. Okay, perfect. Let's get into divorce sisters. Okay. A lot of you, when I did my review with my husband, and shout out to my husband, y'all. I love doing reviews with him. He is actually, he is so hilarious, y'all. But me and my husband, we've been married for 12 years. We've been together for 22 years. So a lot of the things that I see where it comes to like marriage and content and things like that, I often refer to him and ask him, hey, what do you think about this? Or, you know, remember when we went through this and things like that. So in the scene with Rasheda, actually, let me change this up. In this scene with Jefferson and Rasheda, actually at the beginning, when I don't have a clip of that, but when they were outside, and this was like the thing that we were all waiting for since last week, when we saw that Myron called on the phone and said, hey, baby, can you talk? Right? Rasheda had just been in the car all night. She was super duper pissed. She was very shocked, and she seemed, you know, she was super upset that he didn't open the car door. So a lot of us had mixed expressions or mixed emotions about her in this car door. Initially, we all were much like Jefferson, like, it's just a car door. Like, what happened? Like, why are you tripping? And then some people were like, it has to be something more than the car door. But all of us were left questioning what the car door meant. So for me, I feel like you're talking about this car door. You're so upset about the car door. But much like the public and us looking at it, you didn't share with your husband the significance of what this car door meant. So we have watched 5 previous episodes of Rasheda begging and pleading for Jefferson to open up to her But this is yet something that she has not opened up to him about or disclosed to him. She never told him, which we learn that, you know, she is deathly, she went through a whole scenario where opening the door caused a huge problem for her and it caused some serious trauma. So give me 1 second, y'all. I have to respond to somebody. Sorry, y'all. I had to answer that. So, people won't be calling me every 5 minutes. I actually took off today because I'm not feeling well. But so, a lot of people were like, why are you seemingly, we'll get to that. But Rasheda didn't tell Jefferson about the door situation. And we learn in this scene here, after Rasheda goes in the house, she's super upset. Jefferson goes through the motions with Myron, where he says, no, Myron, why would you? My wife is right here. Why are you calling and, making my wife believe things that are not going on? Like, why are you saying baby to me? Like, this is weird. So everything is happening so fast. Rasheda goes in the house. Jefferson gets proceeds to get in the car. He calls Myron, pissed off, like, are you kidding me? My wife looking at me crazy. Like, what the hell? What do you want? And he's like, well, I have a doctor coming to the church to take a look at your arm. He's like, I didn't ask you to do that. Just get off my phone, Myron. I got things to do. I'll see you at the church. So he gets in the car and he prays, which we can see in the upper right hand corner. And he's asking God for a sign. Tiffany calls him and they get to talking. Tiffany's asking, where's Rasheda? Because Rasheda's not answering the phone. So he proceeds to tell her what's going on with him and Rasheda and their rough patch. She's like, are you cheating? He says, no, I'm not cheating. Why? I wouldn't do that. Then he's like, Rasheda stayed in the car all night. She didn't get out. I didn't open the door. Tiffany says, oh my God, you done effed up now. So then she proceeds to tell him about the night of the grape incident with her ex-boyfriend and his frat brothers. Okay. Very tragic incident, very pivotal moment that's cemented in her mind, and a door represents that. Okay. So not taking away from the trauma, however, her husband is not privy to this information. So, with her having such a heightened reaction when he came outside and saw that she didn't open the door, she had an expectation for him to understand the significance of the door. She kept saying, you didn't open the door. You didn't open the door. But yet he didn't know why this was significant to her. Follow me closely here, people. So she's upset. At this moment, I feel that Rasheda was choosing the anger and her emotion over reality and understanding. We're not realizing at this moment that we haven't told our husband that we have this trauma. We're just upset because now this, in her mind, is a nail in the coffin because he used to do this all the time. There's other things that he used to do all the time, like love me, like be emotionally capable with me, be intimate with me, help me with the children, do all these things. But he has slowly let go of these responsibilities and trumps the church as his top priority. She's no longer looked at as a person that he respects, and in her eyes. So all of this is coming out through the trauma with the door, right? So after this conversation with Tiffany and she reveals this hugely traumatic situation that happened to Rasheda, he immediately goes in the house to talk to his wife. Okay, now this is not the scene where he goes immediately in the house. She still had her dress on, but follow me because I can't get another picture. I don't have the other picture. So he goes in the house, he sits down, and he's extremely vulnerable at this point. Now, as a wife, okay, I too have experienced where, my husband, he has his resources of people around him, right? And thankfully positive influences from what I've seen, that when I say something to him that he doesn't quite understand in the moment, he has resources of individuals that he can go and speak to, and they're going to give him positive reinforcement. And sometimes, even through his sister, right? He can speak to her, and she can sometimes reiterate my perspective to him in a way that he can understand it. Now, at first, I didn't like that because I felt like you should get it when I say it to you. But then I learned to find the joy in the fact that he got it. It doesn't matter. Listen, however you got the information, because maybe you're not able to receive it from me right away as your partner, because I'm the one that you're having the turmoil with. I'm the one that you're angry with. I'm the one that we're having the issue, right? So sometimes it's hard for you to hear or really get your partner's position, right? So when someone else gives you the information and sometimes they can even say the same thing that your partner said, but you're able to somehow digest it more because either you've had time to calm down, or you trust this person and this person knows both parties and they're able to uh, dictate the information in a way where you can find it more palatable, right? So there's that. So Rasheda is skeptical the entire time that he's coming in there and apologizing, which is understandable because she just experienced a trauma outside where she's talking about, where she's upset. Number one, you got this man calling my husband baby. My husband has been ignoring me. My husband hasn't been helping with me with the children. He's been dismissive of me when we're in church meetings. He's just totally been disrespectful and has not acknowledged our marriage. He literally just let Franklin come up in here and almost call me a BIEIEI in front of these people. He's not seeing my position with my friend that has experienced trauma with your friend that she was married to, Franklin, Naomi and Franklin. You're only taking Franklin's side, right? So Sweet Pea is in the building. What's up, sis? She says, good morning, friend. How you bees? Thank you for joining. So they're both having this clash, in all these different categories. So he begins to say, I didn't open that door and I'm so sorry. And then he proceeds to tell her how, why I've been acting the way that I've acted is because, the church, this new building has stressed me out so much. And, honestly, I'm tired of doing all these services. I can't keep doing, several services a day. It's wearing on me. And throughout my time of doing all this thing, I see you up on the pulpit and you're just doing such an amazing job. You're so great. You're so wonderful. And I'm simply jealous of you. I'm jealous. He comes out and reveals that he is jealous of his wife. That's why they're having the disconnect in their marriage that they're having right now. He's realizing that he's taking it out on her, that he feels inadequate where it comes to her. He feels like she's better than him. And the more that he allows her to showcase it, the more that people are going to see. He feels like people are going to start to be verbal about what he sees, and that she's no longer going to need him. And now he's going to be the first lady type thing. Like he feels like she's more likable, all these things. So he's giving her props and being open. The same thing that she was asking him to be in the car, right? Remember when they were leaving the church? She's asking him, be open with me, be honest with me, tell me what's going on. Why won't you open up to me? And he's quiet. He's not saying anything. Now he is completely vulnerable in this moment. So here's where a lot of some of my subscribers kind of missed the mark with me, where they felt like I was being judgmental of Rasheda, because at this moment, when he has poured his heart out to her, instead of, and I get that she's still skeptical about the Myron situation, because though we saw as viewers him call Myron back and lay it out and lay his ass out and be like, listen, Myron, what the hell is going on? What are you doing, dude? You got my wife thinking some things, some stuff going on that it's not. She didn't see that. So the last thing she hears is a man on the phone saying, hey, baby. And you're saying you're on speakerphone. So it sounds like you're covering something up. Okay. But we learned that that wasn't the case, that Myron just tripping. So after, stay with me, Jefferson pours his heart out. He's opening up to her like she asked him to, right? You've been asking, begging, and pleading for the last however long y'all have had this rough patch. The first thing she says after he says all of that is, are you messing with Myron? As I would think that as a man, that totally lets the wind out of your sails, because it's like, damn it, woman, I've just sat up here and opened up my heart to you in my Yolanda Adams voice. And this is the first thing you say once I've done that? Ladies, what I want us to pay attention to here is that, is your anger more valuable than the solution? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Is your anger more valuable? Is your anger and pain more valuable than actually gaining what you've been seeking all this time? Because in this moment, and I'm not saying that she shouldn't have addressed that. I'm not saying that. But in that moment, I would have thought it to be more realistic and more helpful to the solution of their, or the resolving of their communication, for her to say to him, you know what, I appreciate you sharing that with me. That's all I've been wanting you to do, is to open up and tell me what's going on. I would have thought that at that moment she would have used that opportunity to dive deeper into those emotions that he was having, because he's vulnerable in this moment. And then you, of course, you address the whole Myron situation at some point, but it seemed like the potential of him cheating on her, not only cheating on her, but also with the opposite sex. Because let me say this, a lot of people will be like, you know, I had a friend from the past. My friend is gay. Well, he was gay. Well, my then friend is gay, but he's not my friend anymore. But anyway, he told me that if your husband cheats on you with me, you shouldn't be upset. You should be the same upset that you would be if it's a woman. And that's a lie. I would be more upset because I can't give him what you can give him. I don't have a peen. So that's why Rasheda zoned into that, because she's like, I'm thinking that you're somebody that you're not. I'm thinking you like something that I provide, but you're over here potentially getting something that I can't give you from the opposite sex, right? Follow me here. So she dives into that versus acknowledging this man's emotions and his feelings and what he's giving to her right now, which is what you've been begging and pleading for. So he says, Rasheda, are you listening? No, I'm not attracted to Myron. No, I don't want to be with Myron. So then after we go off of that subject, then she goes into, he says, well, I have been attracted to certain women at the church. And then they go down the list, Bonita, Keisha, Anita, Lisa, you know, all the people that he's been attracted to at the church. But he closes it out with saying, I don't care about any of those women. I love you. I want to be with you. Okay. So she tells him to get out because she's upset. She needs time to process what he said, which is understandable. He comes back, which I'm glad that he did come back, because I believe she needed that. See, this is where he is taking accountability and acknowledging all of his shortcomings, and he's coming back. Now, some of you may say, why is it that we have to, as women, we always have to, you know, choose to be the bigger person when men have been doing us wrong all this time, and then now we got to be all happy because he finally opened up. Well, why be upset? You get what this is where I'm getting at. Why am I going to sit here and be angry, frustrated, yelling and screaming at this man? Because I'm going to yell and scream at you about something I've been begging and pleading for you to do for however long they've had this rough patch. And I got it. I'm going to build upon this level of positivity, this breakthrough that we're having right now. Why am I going to now pull you back 10 steps? Because now all that's going to do, if Rasheda in this moment, when he came back and he revealed to her, okay, because she kept probing and probing and probing. Why are you keep talking about this door? What do you know? Who have you been talking to? Now, even in this moment when Rasheda was like, who told you? What happened? Why? How do you know what happened? Blah, blah, blah. And he ends up, confessing because he lied. He didn't lie. She said, you're not trying to lie. That's why you said nobody told you last night, which was true because Tiffany told him this morning. But even after she found out, okay, my friend told him what happened with the door, she was upset because her friend told him. But really, Rasheda, you should be upset with yourself because you should have told your husband that. See, the thing is, ladies, we are highly ruled by emotion. And sometimes we have to be more responsible, in my opinion, as a married woman, okay? And again, my relationship is not the foundation of any relationship. I can only speak on my own experiences, right? But we have to be more careful with how we spit out our emotions. You got to think about, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is me being upset with him right now and pissed off because my friend told him that I went through this trauma? Is that worth it? Or is it, what? I'm glad that he knows now. So he knows that about me. There's so much that she's been wanting to know about him, yet you're not sharing things about yourself with him. Did we think about that? You want this man to open up his heart to you, open up and let you know all his past lives and everything that's going on. But you yourself have not shared your past trauma with him. I had I'm finding the comment now because I found it so beautiful. What someone said in my comment section about this very thing. Shout out to Angelica W40. She says, love your reviews. Devon Franklin is a real life pastor, and I really doubt if he would play that role. That would be a role he would reject because most people can't separate fact from fiction. That would be real life character assassination, and he's not going to do that. So Tyler Perry may be a bad writer, but the message had to get across that Jeff was not GAY. Myron may not be GAY, but Tyler Perry knows how people are always thinking the worst, so he's playing on it. If you understand church folk, then you can see why Myron would be so catering to the pastor. This isn't the comment I was looking for, but this is a good comment. Because church folks get very attached to their pastor and they protect them. They'll do anything for their pastor. Men and women love the pastor. Okay. So shout out to Angelica, but that's there was another comment that a young lady left. Hold on, y'all. Let me go to the video. I think this is the wrong. Give me 2 seconds because it really made sense what this person said. So until I find it, I also want to say, hold on. Dang, I should have had it up already. Okay. Actually, Angelica said this too. Angelica W4040. She says, Rasheda would have never told him, and she has been asking him to be more transparent and to be present when she wasn't transparent herself over 20 years, and she never told her husband what she had experienced. Daggone commercials. She has not been forthcoming in the marriage herself, and Tiffany saved their marriage. Everyone's on Jeff, and I'm not supporting his previous actions. But when he revealed that he grew up in foster care and had no one, that tells you that he has abandonment and connection problems. They both have problems before they came into the marriage that they did not deal with together as a couple. Now, 20 years later, they are confronting these issues. Okay. So there you have it. I think that, both of them have had some things that have gone on previously, prior to marriage, that they need to unpack together as a couple, because it's rearing its ugly head as problems in their marriage and their ability to communicate with one another. Good morning, love Key. Thank you so much for joining. She says, hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, sis. Thank you for joining. Chef Don Don is in the building. What's up, friend? He says, hey, friend. What's up? What's up? I'm just over here talking about divorced sisters. So here's where I want to address. Some of you said that, Rasheda has a right to be upset, and she shouldn't have to get over it or whatever. Here's the thing. I think that everyone should move on from things in their own timing. But however, when you're in a relationship and you want it to be successful, I encourage everybody, I want you to ask yourself, when you're going back and forth with your partner, is my anger right now more important than the solution? Sometimes it is. But in this moment, you've been angry, Rasheda, consistently in the last 5 episodes because you said this man wouldn't open up to you. This man finally opens up to you. Okay. And instead of you using that as a foundation for you all to move forward initially, you still remained angry. Now you're mad. You're moving on to, are you gay? Is, Myron and you doing the do together? Who you looking at the church? And it's like you're adding more problems on top of things when the main issue, which is him not opening up to you, has been solved. Let's work on that. And I'm not saying that she should be, smiling ear to ear about it. But when you're in a marriage, you have to, even in a committed relationship, rather, it's important to learn how to communicate properly. Now, I encourage everyone that thinks that anybody that thinks that Rasheda should have just let him have it at that moment, or should have just disregarded him or whatever. How do you think that she should have? I'm interested to see, because sometimes when you put people's face in it, you may have a different thought. Put yourself in that moment with Rasheda after your husband has completely opened up to you. What's your next move? What are you going to do? Are you going to begin yelling at him? Are you going to begin giving him the silent treatment? Are you going to begin creating more negativity in the relationship, which is what you have been trying to avoid in the last 5 episodes? You've been walking on eggshells for the last 5 episodes. Then you decide to explode and cuss his ass out in the car because you just fed up, which I get it. And he didn't acknowledge any of your feelings. Now he's acknowledged your feelings. Now he's telling you what's wrong. And you choose anger over proper communication. You choose anger over moving forward. That's where a lot of us fall short in relationships. We choose to continue in the drama and the turmoil versus working together to find a solution. Me and my husband, whenever we have issues, and we do have issues sometimes, and we'll argue, I'll bring it back to the center and say, listen, what did I do that made you upset? Because sometimes it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about understanding each other and what got you pissed off in the beginning. So I ask you all in this moment with Rasheda and Jefferson, what do you think? How would you have liked to see this come about if this wasn't the optimal solution for you? I really want to know. Chef Don Don says, I'm not completely caught up, but Rasheda girl, yes, child. Yes, it's a lot. I think Rasheda should have processed what he said, discuss it, then address some of her other concerns, in my opinion. And that's healthy as well. That's healthy as well. I think that, and thank you so much for commenting, love key. I think that that is important to really think through what your issues really are. Because sometimes when we just kind of blurt things out in the moment and we're just piling it on our partner, okay? You're just piling on top of your partner. You're not giving your partner room to address things. So now that she knows where his anger and bitterness is coming from, now she can come back to him and say, okay, I totally, whatever, however she wants to process it, and say, listen, I totally understand that you're jealous or whatever. And here's how I want to address that. Here's how we can move forward. I'm your partner. I'm not here to compete against you and whatnot. I love you. We are a team. If I win, you win. And that's how I want you to feel, because I want you to understand that you are the head of this household. I want you to continue to be the face of everything. But here's how I need your support as well. Our son isn't doing well. He's being disrespectful. He done asked me for money outside when I done slept in the car all night. Go into some of these things. And while he is in this vulnerable state, right, and being honest, talk about those things. Let's talk through those issues. He came back. He ain't go to the hospital to go see the sick and shut in. He's making you a priority. Let's talk about it. So let's break it down into little pieces, right? There are very few people that can swallow 12 pills at one time. Okay? Very few, because you'll choke. So take 1 or 2 pills at a time, right? And talk through it. Don't yell after, now that he done opened up. And okay, so you jealous of me? You jealous of me? Okay, now what you gonna do, since you want to be honest, what you gonna do about our son that's not listening? What you gonna do about the Myron being disrespectful to me at the church? What you gonna do about Franklin almost calling me a B at the hospital? You know what? You don't respect me. That's the problem. You jealous of me because you know what? Because I'm better than you. The woman that responds like that, no shade, you will be single forever. You will be single forever, because nobody wants to deal with that. And I'm not putting that on Black women. There's a bunch of regulate every shade. Men regulate every shade that deals like that, acts, responds like that. Responding like that will get you single every time. First of all, it's hard to find a man that will actually open up to you. That's the first thing. Secondly, when you find one that does, the lack of the capability, the thing is, we have to take playing games out of it. The little games that we play, ladies, and that we allow men to play with us. We got to stop that. Even in marriage. You know what? He not gonna open up to me, so I'm not opening up to his ass either. You ain't gonna tell me what the fuck happened. You know what? I'm gonna keep. You know what? I'm gonna sit in this car all night, and I'm not gonna open the door. And in the morning, I'm gonna let his ass see me sitting in this damn car, because he gonna get in this car and go to the church that you love so much. Okay, you gonna come out here and get in this car, and you gonna see my black ass right here. I'm gonna be sitting right here. Take a picture, and I'm still in my dress. And you didn't even come out here and ask me about where I slept at. You didn't even come and check on me. And see, that's the thing. You're adding more to the turmoil, right? And whole time this man, and that's what's running through Rasheda's mind. That's what's running through Rasheda's mind. I'm staying in this damn car, because also if I get out of this car, then that lets me know that it's over. That he doesn't respect me. This is the final nail in the coffin. However, this man doesn't know what this door represents. You haven't opened up to him. You haven't told him these feelings. You haven't shared that. And we can't harp on the fact that, oh, the only reason why he opened up is because Tiffany told. So what? So what? He opened up from Tiffany telling him that. Why? Because he loves his wife. He cares about her. That hit him in the heart, finding out that somebody violated his wife like that. And he immediately understood what that door represented. So he knew at that moment what he had to go in the house and do. Now, if he learned that information, I'm gonna turn it on you like this too. It's like you damned if you do and damned if you don't as a man. Because if he had have heard that information and went in the house and acted like nothing, nothing happened, then y'all would have been like, oh, he learned about that and he ain't even coming there and check on her and try to figure it out. So it's like, damn, you mad that Tiffany told him and he used it and had some compassion. Then if he didn't react, then there would be a problem too. I don't get it. We got to get better. We've got to get better with communicating. Laprice Manze says, one thing I'm learning at my big age, men don't like nagging because they have the weight of the world on his shoulders most time. I agree, Laprice. Now, also, I don't want to promote, and I appreciate you saying that because it is true. Men, you have to understand with men, and this is something, I have two younger brothers. I have my father. My dad was an extremely hard worker. My father worked 4 and 5 jobs, so my mother didn't have to work until they had their own business when I became an adult. I never really saw my father cry or, get super emotional until my grandmother passed away, or like, he cried at my graduation, things like that. Like he was proud of me. But men are held to such standards where they're not allowed to have emotions. They're not allowed to hit back when a woman is constantly berating them with their words and hitting them physically. They are not allowed to have a reaction or an emotion. So when they come home from work and they're hearing it from their boss, they're hearing it from the world, they have all these things, these requirements. I got to take care of my family. I got to make the most money. I got to provide this lifestyle. I got to make sure I'm there for my children. I got to listen, things that we have to do too. Things that we have to do too. However, we're allowed to display our emotions, right? Because we're women. We can display our emotions. We can cry. We can go to sister circles and talk to our friends, right? I don't know what men talk about amongst their friends. I don't even know if some men even feel compelled to hold their friends accountable in certain situations because it's not manly. It's just so many things that are condemned against men, like, oh, you can't do this because then you look like a bitch. Don't be vulnerable with your woman because that's you soft. I don't want no soft man. You soft. But then we want the man to open up to us. It's a double-edged sword. Walking around as a man is a lot. I can't wear pink because people gonna think something else. It's just too many stipulations on what makes you a man. I can't have a man bag or a purse. I think it's a good accessory, but people gonna think I'm something that I'm not, even though I'm a straight man and I think it's a fashion piece. I can't do it because people gonna think this about me. It's too much. And then we come home and we're supposed to be their spouses. And yes, we have the weight. I think the Black woman has the biggest weight on her shoulders in the world too. We have to rear the children. We have to be, Aunt Jemima in the kitchen. We got to be the freaking the sheets. We got to do all these things, right? We both have our own things that are being weighed down on us. So knowing that, why battle each other? We can't come together and then battle each other. Let's battle the outside world together, right? Let's work through traumas. Let's work through it in a healthy manner. We have to be able to have conversations with one another in a way that we can understand each other, right? And so that's why this comment is so important to me. The nagging and stuff. It's like, and then sometimes, ladies, we will say things, and thank you so much, Laprice, for speaking out. Sometimes, ladies, we say things in a manner to be snarky. We're not upfront and honest. We also do things like, good morning, faith is a substance. She says, salutations. Thank you so much for joining. Sometimes we say things in a very sarcastic manner instead of just coming out and saying it. If we think that our man is cheating, we immediately do a Geneva and go become, the best private eye in the nation, and we looking for shit, right? You know, when your grandmother said, seek and you shall find? That's true. Seek, you shall find. However, woman's intuition is a real thing too. If you think that this is happening, I want you to understand something. When you find it, be ready to do something about it. Because if you're doing all this detective work just to argue with this man, you look just as dumb as you did while he was cheating. Have a solution. Men love solutions. Okay. That's their love language. Men love to solve a problem, right? So knowing that is half the battle. I know that all the time when we have an issue, my husband is going to want to solve the problem. So I will tell him initially when I'm having a conversation with him, I will say, listen, I know that you love to just solve the problem right now in this moment. I just want to vent to you. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. I don't want you to try to solve my problem. I just want you to hear me out. And there may be some things that I may want your opinion on, but I want you to respond in a way where you're not trying to solve my problems for me. I want you to help me understand, work through my emotions right now. Are you in a space to be able to do that? And he'll let me know if he wants to do that or not. I allow him that space to properly communicate with me, because sometimes maybe he don't want to hear what the fuck I got going. Maybe he got his own shit going on where I need to go and take this to my best friend. You're not the right person for me to talk about this specific issue right now. But if it's an issue with you, then we need to talk about it. And we need to break it down into morsels that we can both digest, right? So that's where the whole Rasheda situation goes. But I want to finalize what I was saying about the cheating, because I think I derailed a little bit. If you find out that your man is cheating and it's concrete, if you're not going to leave, I live by Miss Evelyn Braxton. Let that man cheat in peace. Because, he already cheating. You sitting up here yelling and screaming ain't going to make him stop, and you're not going nowhere. Period. Why do we do all the drama? And it's okay to work through, I'm going to stay, but I want to stay with stipulations. What ways are we going to work through this? Why? I want to understand why you're cheating on me. Or if you cheating, if you are Geneva, why you cheating? Help him understand why you cheating if y'all decide to stay together. If you decide to stay together in a manner where it's healthy for both of you, where you can move forward and begin to trust each other again. Not staying together and the drama, y'all both are just so addicted to the drama. That's not helping nobody. That's not creating examples, especially if you have children in this environment. That's not creating a good environment for your children. The bottom line is we have to fall out of love with the drama and fall in love with the solutions. The solution is understanding each other. The solution is identifying your partner's best means of communication. Not figuring out, not holding on to anger, not piling on. It's not healthy. And I'm telling you right now, and I'm not being shady or anything, that will create a single woman for life. And it'll create a single man, because don't nobody want to deal with a bunch of drama from a man. Because even a woman after a while, they'd be like, you know what, I'm tired. I've done too much to try to be understanding of you. It'll be a situation like Bridget, where it's like, you know what? I have listened to Vaughn complain and say he gonna do this and say he gonna do that and not do it. And he ain't did it. So you got to get out. And we got to know. And lastly, ladies, we have to know when to leave. Stop waiting for somebody to change. You got to listen when people show you who they are. And give yourself, it's okay to give yourself a time period of, you know what, I know I'm not going to leave him right now. I'm going to hope and pray that this gets better by this time. But you know what, if it doesn't, I got to go. Because sometimes we see something in people that they don't really see in themselves right away. And sometimes some people can change if they're willing to change for you, if they're willing participants in their change. But some things you don't want to see people change, because if you have to make somebody change their whole personality, then that just ain't them. They just an imposter. Laprice Manze says, sometimes it takes an outside source to see what you can't. Yeah, I agree. You know, me and my husband, we did therapy because we had gotten to a point where our communication has gotten so much better because we were this, where it's like I would get upset and then I want to pile on top, and I want to talk about, because I've been so angry about certain things that he'd been doing, that now that I got your attention, let me pile it all on top of you right now. And you did this and you did that, grabbing all the air and everything while I'm cussing him out, right? I'm just trying to perfect how nasty I can be towards you. None of it is getting towards solving the problem. It's just, how can I hurt you more? And I'm not going nowhere. So at that point, it's like, why am I exerting all this energy to let have on you? I'm still going to be here. I'm making it hella uncomfortable for both of us. We need help. So we started going to therapy, and we learned that for birthdays, we had a big issue with birthdays. My husband doesn't like surprises, right? And I do. So I will often do things for him that I want him to do for me. And then I would silently harbor it. And I would be so pissed, and I would use it against him. And I would say, you know what? I did this, and this for you. And every year you ask me, what do you want for your birthday? And I know you tell me that you want me to just ask you instead of just doing all these things, but you enjoy yourself when you having the party. And I would just harbor this anger because I'm like, why don't you see that I'm unhappy every time you ask me, what do I want for my birthday? And you know me better than anybody. You should know what I want. That was my mindset. Because my husband, literally, y'all, I would come home and I would have a bad day. I wouldn't even have talked to him about it. And he would have a bottle of wine and a symphony bar. I love symphony bars, the toffee and toffee almond bars in the store. And I love Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Sauvignon. Right, I think that's what it is. It's red wine. And he would have that for me on those days. And I just thought he was psychic. So I would just be so pissed that when we're having a rough patch or these birthday things will come up, that he wouldn't do the big extravaganza things that I do for him. So our therapist brought us to the light that, oh, okay, so you do for him what you want him to do for you, and he does for you what he wants you to do for him. We never realized that on our own. Something so simple. We never realized on our own. We needed a therapist to bring it out of us, right? So, needless to say, we learned so many different ways to properly communicate with one another through those sessions. Now, of course, you go through a couple of therapists to find a good one, but when we found a good one, we found a good one. Someone that really understood us as a couple. You can't do it by yourself. Sweet P724 says men are taught to be strong, don't cry. Yeah, and that's tough. That is very, very tough. It's just like Jefferson. He's being, stern and oh, I don't want to talk about my feelings, and I gotta be the pastor. I have to weigh all of everybody's burdens on my shoulders. I'm the man. Everybody's coming to me for advice, so I have to look like I have it all together, right? That's a lot of pressure. And the whole time he's sitting over there jealous of his key player, his wife. Crazy, right? The people that are giving everybody all this help need help, and they refuse to get it because they have an image to uphold. And she's participating in this too, y'all. Because it's not like she's forcing him to go to therapy. She didn't have the counselor come to the house and say, you better sit down. Put this on your calendar. We going to therapy and you will talk to this lady. We got to go see the lady. Okay. Faith is a substance says the question would be is if Jeff is being sincere or if he is doing this out of sympathy. Just the night before, he slept like a baby while he was in the car and couldn't care less about her. And that is true. I will, that's normal for her to wonder that. It's normal for her to wonder that. However, the fact that he came in to reveal something that big, right? Just is just my personal, my mind wouldn't even go here. I wouldn't even think that it was out of sympathy, because for you to reveal something that big, you get what I'm saying? For a man to admit, I am jealous of you. You are better than me in so many things. And I basically, in so many words, he was like, I secretly hated you because I could never be like you. Now, if it was a thing of sympathy, more like, coming in, if he took the approach of, and he really felt like this, where he's jealous of her, but he comes in and he's like, I'll do whatever you want me to do, babe. Let's go to dinner together. We'll be intimate. I'll deal with our son. Anything you want, I promise you, I'll do it. This, that, and the third. And not addressing, still not opening up to her, but just doing the foo-foo stuff that they think women want to do, to say I'm sorry. If he did that, then I would say that it was just out of sympathy. But the fact that he unloaded this weight off of him, something that actually makes him look weak, right? One would, many would say something that left him so, not weak, but something that left him so vulnerable. I don't think that this is something where, if I'm his wife, that I would question his sympathy, that it was out of sympathy. That's something real heavy to tell somebody out of sympathy. I don't think so. I would be more focused on the fact that he shared that with me. He opened up to me about this. So let's tag team this thing and handle it together. And I want to help you understand that I'm your partner. I'm not here for you to hate me. I'm not here for you to feel inadequate where it comes to me. I'm here for us to lock arms, and I'm here for you to know that I got your back no matter what. I'm up here doing these services because I love you. I see that you're working hard every day doing all these services. That's why I'm helping you to do the services. I can't control that my personality may be bigger than yours and that people may like me more. That's fine. Let me figure out, walk beside me so people can like you and love you just as much as they love me. I got you. That's my response. Not you doing this because you feel bad, because you feel bad. No, that's the wrong direction to take that. For me, that wouldn't be where my mind would go, right? I would be looking at it like, how can I forever uplift this powerful Black man that is my husband, that I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with? Let me help. Let me pull down my barriers, right? And understand what's really happening here. Let me break this down, if that makes sense. Love Key says, I love symphony bars. Girl, yes, that is my favorite. Okay, you hear me? My favorite chocolate. It is also the detriment to any gains that I ever have. Like, I always, at once that time of the month, I had to tell my husband, stop bringing me them things, because he knows, it's like he knows when my cycle is coming, and he'll have one here in the refrigerator for me. And I'm like, oh, I love you, but please. I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm trying to do right. But y'all, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to come on here and really understand. Um, I wanted I wanted to really take a deep dive into this. Of course, yeah. Thank you so much, Faith is a Substance. She says great perspectives. Awesome. Absolutely. I want to make sure that we all understand each other, because listen, y'all teach me things all the time, and I listen to everybody's perspective, and my opinion is not law, but some things I just feel like, um, if I can share a open-ended perspective of why I feel so soundly about certain things, then I definitely want to provide that to my audience. So, um, Allie Nick is here. What's up, Allie? How you be? She says, good morning, love. We got some content creators in the chat, y'all. We had Caramel Rail earlier. Faith is a Substance is also a content creator. Shout out to her. And we have Allie Nick, that is also a content creator as well. She also reviews Divorced Sisters, all of the Tyler Perry things. So shout out to all the content creators that are visiting my little old chat this morning. I appreciate you. Okay. And Chef Don Don, of course, I got to shout out my friend. He's also another content creator that does content on the YouTube platform that I love so much. All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and skate on up out of here, but I will be back later on to do my Real Housewives of Atlanta review for season 16 reunion. Child, I can't talk, part 1. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now, that reunion was giving absolutely nothing, but we're gonna talk about it. But thank y'all so much for watching and listening to my perspective. I hope that we can further this conversation in the chat, because again, I'm always open to learning. Thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Go ahead and comment down below so we can keep the conversation rolling. And I love you. Mean it. All right, y'all. Peace out. I'll check you in the next video.